ददाति स्वस्ति
ॐ स्वस्ति ॐ स्वस्ति ॐ स्वस्ति ॐ स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु
ॐ अस्य कर्मणो रिद्धिं भवन्तो ब्रुवन्तो
ॐ रिद्ध्यताम् ॐ रिद्ध्यताम् ॐ रिद्ध्यताम् ॐ रिद्याभस्तोमम् शनयाभवनमनो मन्त्रम् सर्वदेहोपायातम् यशो न भक्त्वम् मरुगो स्वन्तरा भूतं शो अश्विनक्रामवक्त्राः ॐ स्वस्ति नो गोविन्दः स्वस्ति नो अच्युतानन्दः स्वस्ति नो वासुदेवो विष्णुर्दधातु स्वस्ति नो नारायणो नरो वै स्वस्ति नः पद्मनाभः पुरुषोत्तमो दधातु स्वस्ति नो विश्वक्सेनो विश्वेश्वरः स्वस्ति नो ऋषिकेशो हरिर्दधातु स्वस्ति नो वैनाथेयो हरिः स्वस्ति नो अञ्जनासुतो हनुर्भागवतो दधातु स्वस्ति स्वस्ति सुमङ्गलैकेशो महत् श्रीकृष्ण सच्चिदानन्दगणः सर्वेश्वरेश्वरो दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
ॐ गोविन्द 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 ॐ तत्सत् अद्य ब्राह्मण द्वितीयपरार्धे श्रीश्वेतवराहकल्पे वैवस्वताख्यमन्वन्तरे अष्टाविंशतिकलियुगसप्रथमसन्ध्यायां ब्रह्मणविंशतौ वर्तमानायां षड्विंशोत्तरपञ्चशतगौराब्दे उत्तरायणे वसन्तऋतौ गोविन्दमासे गौरपक्षे मीनराशिस्थिते भास्करे षष्ठीतिथौ रविवारान्वितायां कृतिकानक्षत्रसंयुतायां भूमण्डले जम्बूद्वीपे भारतवर्षे भारतखण्डे मेदिनीभूतस्य सुमेरो दक्षिणे लवनार्णवस्योत्तरे कोणे गङ्गायाः पूर्वभागे श्रीमायावरधाम्नि श्रीविग्रहब्राह्मणवैष्णवाग्निसन्निधौ एवं गुणविशेषवसिष्ठायाम् अस्मिन् दिवसे संन्यासहोमं वयं करिष्यामहे।
ॐ कृष्ण परमं सदा पश्यन्ति सूरयः दिवेव चक्षुराददाम् तद्विप्रासो विभन्यवो जग्विवादं सस्समिन्दते विष्णो यत्परमं पराम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
अग्न्यावाहन ॐ वैष्णवनामाग्नेहारच्च अग्ने त्वं वैष्णवनामासि श्रीविष्णुस्ते जये भार्याम् ॐ कृष्णानन्दमकन्दमाधव हरे गोविन्द वंशीमुख श्रीगोपीजनवल्लभ व्रजसुधे भक्तप्रिये ज्योत्सिता भक्तप्रेमवशक्रिया फलरसानन्दैकनिर्णागिः राधाकान्तदुरन्तसंस्कृति हरे त्याप्यारि जिह्वे सदा ॐ तद्विष्णो परमं परकं सदा पश्यन्ति सूरयः दिवेव चक्षुराददाम् तद्विप्रासो विभन्यवो जग्विवादं सस्समिन्धते विष्णो यत्परमं पदाम् ॐ कृष्णो वै सच्चिदानन्दघनः कृष्ण आदिपुरुषः कृष्णपुरुषोत्तमः कृष्णः ओकरमादिमूलम् कृष्णः सहस्रवैकायः कृष्णकाशं विराजेषु मुखप्रभुपूज्यः कृष्णो दानेस्तस्मिन् गर्भाग्रे यं मङ्गलं तल्लभते कृते ॐ अग्निं गौतं पुरोदारे हव्यवाहमपब्रवे ॐ इदं सोमे भजामहे इदं भद्रं सुमङ्गलं परासपत्नं बालस्व अन्येषां विन्दते धनम् ॐ एको हरेव प्रदिशो सर्वः पूर्वो अजातः स गर्भे अन्तः स एव जातः स दृश्यमानः प्रत्यञ्जनस्तिष्ठति सर्वतोमुखः शोधन ॐ इमं सोमम् अर्हते जातवेदसे रथाविव सम्महे मामनीषया भद्राहिणः प्रमादिरस्य संसद्यग्ने सत्ये मारीषा भयं तव ॐ भरामेवं विनवाना हविंषीरे चिदयम् अप्पयगारा परमना भयम् जीवादावे प्रतरान् सारयारियोग्ने सत्ये मारीषा मा भयं तव.
So here's the introduction of Gopalbhati Goswami. Is that okay? All men have a right to enter the Grihastha ashram, but only the three upper varnas, Vaishya, Kshatriya, and Brahmana, have a right to the other three ashramas, Brahmachari, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. Now in here, be very careful is that don't think, oh, this is all bodily conscious. This is Gopalbhati Goswami, so there's no bodily consciousness here. He's talking about our bodily consciousness. Right? Because the person identifies as a Shudra, then it's all about his senses, all about his expression, all about this and that. So therefore, then these other ashrams don't fit. They just don't. Because Brahmachari is about who tells you what to do. Vanaprastha is about giving up everything. Sannyas also. So it just doesn't fit the mentality. But if someone gives up that mentality, then it works. But if the external manifestation is there, one is not qualified. According to the rules of Varnashram, for women, Shudras and Dvija Bandhus, these ashrams are forbidden. The Shudra is a person without samskar or purification. And his characteristic is lamentation, sochana. Lamentation is due to ignorance, which is part of his nature. Right? It's not that, it's this and that, but it's just the nature. Right? How is it possible that such a person become a brahmachari or take to any of the activities requiring higher spiritual interest? This is the scriptural statement, right? So it's talking about our conditioning, so this is just the way it is. Shastra says, because we have to remember, Shastra is just defining, it means in written form how Krishna made the creation. It's not that it's something to discuss, like, well, it says here that there's gravity, but, we don't believe in gravity. That's so old. That's so archaic. That's so 5,000 years ago. We know this is the modern age. We want to do what we want to do. We're free. We don't have to follow all these laws of nature. No, so it doesn't really work. However,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I had requested Bhakti Puri Maharaj to explain some of the, as he calls it, mechanistics. But I think it was deeper than that, of acceptance of sannyas. And he has given us a lot of background behind the proper state of consciousness that one should have upon accepting sannyas. Ultimately, or as he said, the consciousness is that of indifference. And of course that means indifference towards anything within the material world. And he also emphasized the ultimate necessity of always being fixed. Smartavya Satatam Vishnu, or Smartavya Vajati Chit, to always being fixed in the consciousness of the Lord, that the Supreme Lord must always be remembered, must never be forgotten, Savavidi Nisidasya Etya Evatinka, all the rules and all the prohibitions of the scriptures are meant to be the servants of these two principles. So, I'll speak just briefly. I would like to speak just to cover maybe, or to give, I feel what might be a relevant instruction, both learned through my years of having formally accepted the sannyasa ashram, and my understanding of the consciousness that one should have after accepting sannyasa ashram. And I'll, as I said, speak briefly on this point, and I think it would be something relevant for our sannyasa initiate, as well as for everyone who is present to understand this principle. Maharaj quoted one verse spoken by the Avanti Brahmin, which Lord Chaitanya himself recited when he was traveling throughout Radhadesh after accepting the renounced road of life. He would quote this verse, Etam sa astaya paratma nishtam, that I shall cross over the insurmountable ocean of Neshus by firmly taking shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. And this was approved by all the previous acharyas, who also themselves fully had taken shelter at the Supreme Lord, Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Chaitanya recited that verse. Srila Prabhupada also requested the devotees, upon taking sannyas, to recite that verse every day, and emphasized that the essence is the Paratmanishta, which is taking full shelter at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Mukunda. It's interesting to note that this verse was recited by the Avanti Brahmin. Maharaj gave us a little summary of who the Avanti Brahmin was, that he was actually a Brahmana who was a very wealthy merchant, but was very miserly, lusty, greedy, very disrespectful towards his family members, and really very much absorbed in his own wealth, and would not care even for his own family members. In due course of time, by the arrangement of the Supreme, by providence, also by the arrangement of so many other factors, all of his wealth was taken away from him. And his family totally rejected him. And he suffered greatly as a result of realizing all the sins that he had committed. And gradually what happened through that process of suffering and remembrance of the will of the Lord, and having lost everything, he remembered the Lord and became grateful for all the Lord had done to him, for taking everything away and putting him in that totally helpless condition. So total renunciation had actually awakened within his heart. And then internally, he was completely in this renounced state and began wandering throughout tract of land as a sannyasi, renunciate. And as Maharaj also said that as a sannyasi, he was subjected to all kinds of criticism. Not just criticism, I mean, you mentioned how the boys would make fun of him and harass him. But in fact, this whole story was told by Krishna to Uddhava. When Uddhava asked, the question, how does a person deal with insult? How does a person deal with being not only insulted but harassed and hurled all kinds of abuses? And the Lord, Krishna, told this story of the Avanti Brahmin to answer that question. So he had accepted externally, not only externally, but internally, accepted the renounced order. And you would think that having accepted the renounced order, then all of a sudden he would become respected. Because generally that's what we think, that when one accepts the renounced order of life, and Prabhupada even said that he was giving sannyas to his disciples, because when you have respect, you can preach effectively, and even Lord Chaitanya himself accepted sannyas because he was thinking that, well, I've come to deliver Krishna prema. What is it? The medicine Pipalikanda is supposed to remove mucus, but somehow it's having the opposite effect. I've come to deliver the whole world, but when his own students were coming and they were finding fault with him for chanting the names Gopi, Gopi, he was thinking within his heart that, maybe I should take sannyas so that they'll respect me. So even Lord Chaitanya took the sannyas ashram, although, as you know, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not required, and that's a whole story in of itself, especially in the conversation with Gopinathacharya, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and how Gopinathacharya had to convince Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya that Lord Chaitanya is not in any ways dependent upon any kind of external dress or designation. But nonetheless, the principle is there of respect. But the complete opposite happened, that this Avanti Brahmin was wandering about and he was totally mistreated. People would say that he just adopted that external dress because he couldn't make it. And he thought they were criticizing him and insulting him and mistreating him. And as Maharaj said, he just gave the light version of the things they did to him, such as he would go around and collect food, and whatever small amounts of food he would collect, he would put it before himself, offer it to the Lord, and take it, and then people would come and urinate on the food. And they would tie him up, bind him with chains, and other activities, probably unmentionables. And in that state, or in those circumstances, not only, of course, was he internally renounced, and although he had adopted the external dress, he completely rationalized by his full dependence on the Lord of how all these things are, as Marge said, indifferent. I mean, this was his indifference. Respect may come, insult and abuses may come, but he was totally indifferent. And why was he so indifferent? And then he quoted this verse, Etang sastaya paratmanishtam yasakam pura. Quoted it every day. Bahadvi. Always happens, right?
It's because it's always on the internal, not on the external.
You're right. I don't really say it.
Yeah.
I don't quote it. So, he said, I shall cross over the insurmountable ocean of nations by being firmly situated in the service of the lotus feet of Lord Mukunda. And as we said, Lord Chaitanya was chanting this verse while he was, after taking sannyas, traveling throughout Bangladesh, and very much absorbed in the mood of sannyas as that which was displayed by the Avanti Brahmin. Now, it's interesting to note, as we said, that this Avanti Brahmin took shelter in this verse and this whole song of the Avanti Brahmin because of this mistreatment. And in the conversation, it was a conversation between Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Lord Chaitanya, actually. When Lord Chaitanya came before Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and he asked him to please give him suitable instructions, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, the first thing he asked him is, why did you take sannyas? And he said, actually, taking sannyas means that now you become very proud. Because you've adopted this dress of a sannyasi, you'll think you don't have to offer obeisances to anybody. Everyone will offer obeisances to you. They'll respect you. And you'll be so proud and so arrogant that you won't even think you have to offer obeisances back to anyone else. You'll just accept. And then he quoted a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam which states that actually that sannyasi should offer obeisances to all the super soul in the heart of all living entities, and she should even be offering obeisances to the dogs, to the lower animals, to the lechas and sudras. And now everyone's going to come and offer obeisances to you. Why have you done this to yourself? Why would you do such a thing? That was Sarvabhauma's first statement to Lord Chaitanya when he was instructing him. So, our understanding, and as Prabhupada said, also in the commentary to that verse quoted in the Bhagavatam, Paratmanishta, he says sannyas is not simply a change of dress. It is a change of consciousness. And he quotes the verse, Nashrita kama palakaya kama karoti cha sa sannyasi cha yogi cha nanaragnyana chakraya. That one who works as is obligated in the renounced order of life, and he is the true mystic. Now he who lights no fire performs no work. Prabhupada quoted that verse to explain that actually it's the consciousness which is sannyas, and it is not the change of dress. In other words, conversely, one can change dress and not be sannyas. Therefore, changing the dress is just simply an external formality, that the essence is to be engaged fully in the service of the Lord, Mukunda, by which one can cross over the insurmountable ocean of nations. And therefore, although when one takes sannyas, there is respect offered, one should always understand that as soon as he thinks this respect is for me, he's fallen. One should never think that this respect is for me. This respect is for the service of the Supreme Lord, Mukunda. And this is real renunciation. If everything is to be offered to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Mukunda, he must see that every opportunity that is given him to serve the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Mukunda is that I will accept that respect as an opportunity to serve the Supreme Lord. Therefore, never accepting it for himself and being completely renounced in his spirit of indifference. Whether respect is there, whether not, no respect is there. The sannyasi is one whose only interest is to serve the Supreme Lord. And therefore, he will accept that respect as an opportunity to help others by his own example, by his own internal renunciation, and by his willingness to preach under all circumstances, whether respect or no respect. The sannyasi is, Prabhupada would oftentimes state, he is fearless, and he's not dependent upon external formalities in the execution of his service to the Supreme Lord. So indifference, I really appreciated this point that Maharaj was making. Indifference means whether I'm comfortable or whether I'm not comfortable. Whether I'm respected or whether I'm not respected. Whether I'm happy or whether I'm not happy. Indifference means under all circumstances, my responsibility, my duty is to be fully engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord and in the service of my spiritual master, and fulfilling his mission, which is to, in all circumstances, be transcendental to the happiness and distresses of this material world, and to be tolerant of all obstacles that will be placed on one's path, although it may not be as severe as that which was experienced by the Avanti Brahmin. Nonetheless, there will be many obstacles in the execution of this service. And the greatest obstacle that one needs to overcome is, as Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya warned Lord Chaitanya, is to become proud and to think that I am now sannyas. I am on the highest platform. I should be given respect. I should be given service. Actually, we should think I deserve nothing. I simply want only the opportunity to serve. That is Paratmanishta. And that should be the consciousness that will carry us through. As this Bhakti Brahman says, enable us to cross over the insurmountable ocean of nescience and to be fixed at the lotus feet of the Lord. This renunciation was proved, and Lord Chaitanya himself said, gave the example that the highest platform of renunciation was found in the attitude of the gopis of Vrindavan. They were ready to do anything for the service of the Supreme Lord, to accept criticism, chastisement, whatever social condemnation would come. Their renunciation, Lord Chaitanya specifically held them to be the highest. And that is the mood which the sannyasi has, and that is his meditation, which he performs every day in his worship of the Lord, is the mood of the gopis for renunciation from this world. So, this is my humble submission to the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas who assemble. And I humbly pray that you bless me, that one day I may become sannyas and be a fit example for Prabhupada Das who is today accepting the renounced order of life and being given this opportunity to serve his spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, in this mood. And I've known Prabhupada Das for many years, all the way back to the first days when I joined the movement. Prabhupada Das was living nearby the temple, and I could tell many stories, but I guess they could leave certain impressions, which may not be conducive to the event. Thank you, Maharaj, for protecting me. But I will say one thing. Many of you may not know that Prabhupada Das met Srila Prabhupada 1966 in 26 Second Avenue, when Prabhupada Das used to go there sometimes in a state of mind not conducive for spiritual life. But nonetheless, Prabhupada was very kind and merciful to him, and left such an impression. That compassion that Prabhupada had left such an impression that 10 years later, Prabhupada Das could not forget it, even though he tried. And 10 years later, when he was living by the Boston Temple, he had business and 9 years?
10 years initiation, 9 years joining.
Oh, 9 years joined. Okay, 9 years.
That's the one.
Prabhupada Das had a furniture business, Zeke's Furniture. And I guess this is one story I'll tell. I was a brahmachari then, and my temple president, our temple was very desperate for money, and the temple president was thinking that maybe I should let Naranjana work for Prabhupada Das, because Prabhupada Das offered, if you send somebody, I'll pay them and all the money can go to the temple.
The temple was usually 50% part.
Yeah. Temple's going to get a lot of money. So I went the first day, and the type of personalities that used to work with his business were just not really the best association. And I don't remember exactly, maybe you remember, but I do remember that Trade House had received a letter from Prabhupada when I was initiated, and Prabhupada told Trade House, he said, you have to take good care of me, Neil. He said, at the time of initiation, you have to take good care of him, please take good care of him. And Trade House was feeling guilty that Prabhupada told him to take good care of me, and here he was putting me working with these people. So after one day, he said, forget it. You can't work with him anymore. And that was it. I had worked one day, literally.
So now no one can say he's not worked one day in his life.
It was very nice while it lasted.
He was thinking this justifies everything. If I could have somebody like from the temple working in my business and I could do it, and he was thinking it was
Combining spiritual and all
yeah, combining the spiritual with the material. One day. One day. And then, not long afterwards, Prabhupada Das, 1 year later, left his family left a wife, his wife, left son that was, I can't remember how it was, just a few months old, wasn't he?
I kind of things kind of got out of control at a certain point.
For the service of Srila Prabhupada. And in 1970, he moved to the temple and just renounced everything. 75. And from that day on, he's never gone back. He's never looked back. He's just nothing but the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada, because he could not forget that impression that Prabhupada left on him, a deep impression that changed his heart forever. And he was given the name Prabhupada-Das. So throughout the years we've always kept contact, and now it's 38 years later. I'm very happy to be a part of this event and to see Prabhupada Das internally accepting this mood of renunciation, which he's already practiced for many years, but now he's formally accepting it and declaring to everyone. It's a public declaration. You're declaring to everyone now. Paratmanishta. Now, although we've never turned back, I remember when I took sannyas, Satsvarup Maharaj told me something that Prabhupada told him. He said Prabhupada told him when he took sannyas, he says, now, sannyas means that whenever you go and beg, go to the home of a householder to beg or to preach, to serve them, so you can never think again, I could have had this. Is it finished? You cannot even think again. So Prabhupada told that, and he shared that with me when I took sannyas. And I'm sharing it with you. You should never think, I could have this, or I could have had this. These are Prabhupada's words. So this is your formal declaration and your opportunity to give everything for Prabhupada's service. And I'm very happy, as I said, to take part and feel privileged that you're allowing me to take part in this event. And I ask all the devotees who are present to please give your blessings to Prabhupada Das so that he may become a completely sold out servant to his spiritual master and perfect his life in this life. Hare Krishna.
Hari.
Next?
There are just a few exchanges here.
Oh.
भोगुरु संप्रदाय साध्या साधनाधिष्ठान प्राज्ञा अस्मिन् भारते संसारां मां त्राहि सन्यासां देहि.
spiritual master, most knowledgeable in the process and goal of perfecting human life according to the bona fide sampradaya, please deliver me from the material ocean by granting me the order of sannyas.
मायातरङ्गे संसारपरितं मां समुद्धार कौपीनं देहि शुद्ध्यार्थं भवतापनिवारणं कौपीनग्रहणेनाहं अचिरात् इह.
Please deliver this fallen soul from the waves of the material world. Bestow upon me the coping to purify me and extinguish the suffering of material existence. Receiving this coping, I shall very quickly become pure.
भो गुरो भिक्षुपयोगं योगपत्तादिकं मां ग्राहय.
O spiritual master, please give me the cloth and other items which are characteristic of a sannyasi.
यद्येवं तर्हि पैष इति वार त्रयं पठस्व भद्र.
O fortunate one, if you so desire this, then say, Raisha, may the function commence 3 times.
Say the next Praishosmi.
प्रैषोऽस्मि.
No, sir. Praishosmi. 3 times with hands.
3 times? Praishosmi, Praishosmi, Praishosmi. And fold it.
I should stay.
You'll hand it to you give it to him, and then he'll take it to the deities, and he'll get back to get blessed by the sannyasis. Take to the deities, sir, and just show to the deities. And then it comes out. You go. Well, the devotees are getting initiated also. For those 6 of us, Krishna does. Gaurish Pandit. Good. I can speak.
since I'm used to speaking in presence. So, two devotees today are also accepting Harinam initiation. And it is an important day for them. And they'll be accepting their vows. And in the presence of deities, sacrificial fire, assembled Vaishnavas. And both of them are, as we said, are being initiated to the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. And it is very important that they properly understand that at the time of initiation that one should be firmly convinced Shvara Shabdi Vishwas Shabdi Krishna Bhakti Kali Savakama Kutahaya. The Shraddha or faith means that one has to have complete conviction that by rendering devotional service and by fully taking embracing chanting of the holy name of the Lord, then automatically all one's subsidiary obligations are being fulfilled. This type of faith should be there at the time of accepting initiation. Otherwise, how can a devotee accept a vow? Vow means that you're already convinced from this day on, first and foremost in my life, the commitment I am making is that every day I will attentively chant the holy name of the Lord, minimum 16 rounds every day. And this will be the basis of my entire life. Everything else is secondary. Because a hungry person knows that to eat, I don't, the body will become, in due course of time, complete estranged, no nourishment, and we cannot live. In the same way, so what vows are you accepting today?
I promise to follow the four regulated principles of human life, which are namely refraining from illicit sex, refraining from gambling, no meat eating, no fish, no eggs, and refraining from intoxication. And I promise to chant at least 16 rounds every day.
Thank you very much. So today on behalf of Srila Prabhupada and Guru Parampara, I'm accepting you as my disciple. And I'm giving you the name Krishna Gopal Das. Okay? Yaroslav? Good. Huh?
Los cuatro principios.
Did you write that?
Hare Krishna.
Okay. What vows are you accepting today?
I promise to follow four principles: no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex, and to chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra every day minimum.
Spasibo. Alright, so today, on behalf of Srila Prabhupada and Guru Parampara, I'm accepting you as my initiated disciple. And we're giving you a new name. Your new name is Yamuna Jivana Das. Name for Krishna, which is Yamuna is the life of Krishna. So Yamuna Jivana Das. Понял? Да? Хорошо. Вот. We can chat until Prabhupada Das returns. Because he's next. Watch your head.
And then after that,
Also, there's no mantras now. I just give them yes. Okay. All right. I'm going to give you your danda and give you your sannyasa name. So, please accept this danda and the spirit we spoke about in our talk. And I'm also giving you a name which I feel is suitable to the occasion, suitable to your mood, and I ask the Vaishnavas who have gathered to please give their blessings again. And your new name is Bhakti Prabhupada-vrata Damodar Swami.
Wow!
yes, after the basis.
Which means he who is completely loyal to Prabhupada.
His Holiness Bhakti Prabhupada-vrata Damodar Goswami Maharaj ki
What can we call him?
Damodar Swami.
Damodar Swami.
Goswami or Swami Maharaj?
Bhakti
Prabhupada-vrata
Damodar
Swami.
Yeah, Bhakti Prabhupada-vrata is basically one.
Evil. Got everything there. Jai Maharaj. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
And then here. Then you should say Achyuta Gotraya,
Achyuta Gotraya,
Swaha,
Swaha,
Om,
Om,
Achyuta Gotro,
Achyuta Gotro,
Ham Asmi.
Ham Asmi.
Now I am a member
Now I am a member
of the Achyuta Gotra.
of the Achyuta Gotra.
Means that it's the Gotra of Krishna. Means it goes, all the other Gotras go back to a Prajapati, a son or grandson of Brahma.
Like bringing everyone back to Krishna.
Yeah, and now Achyuta Gotra means you're directly connected with Krishna. You don't worry about the material, because those the others are material considerations.
So easy. You get this easy.
So now we'll sit for that.
Yeah, I can sit here.
Yes, the two of you sit here. And the two other initiates sit there.
Yes.
You just, when you sit. Yeah, then cross your legs. Or just put, lean on your shoulder. Or lean on the other side if you want to. Close your leg. Well, interesting thing on the dunda. So it's made up of 4 sticks. The main is 3. 3 go all the way to the top. Those are the actual 3 dundas. So those means body, mind, and words. Orientation and service. So the 4th one is added. That it's the jiva dunda, which means it's soul who surrenders body, mind, and words. And that's our dundas unique. It has these 4 sticks, body, mind, and words. Because that represents, the particular line. So there's 2 understandings of it, and one is that it represents Paramatma. So therefore, you're surrendered to Paramatma. You're preaching about Paramatma. So it's all about that's the mantra. The Maharaj speaks also the mantra you chant. And then, VP Purnima, the older Purnima, you mentioned that Bhakti says that Thakur called it the dumpster. The dumpster means it's in battle, is a specific kind of axe that is curved like that. It's specifically meant for cutting off heads. So this is for cutting off the heads of Maya. In other words, strong people. So it has both these elements.
You're well equipped now.
Yes. Now, Mayavadi beware.
Offering all respect to others.
Respect the soul. The soul's not the body. Grains in the fire, use this mudra. Use the 2 fingers here. Just put the dunda down, put it on the ground.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
so we'll start
If
together. So for-
sorry, if everybody could please go back to where you're sitting or sit wherever you are.
Okay. So now let's start.
Om Bhur Swahaya Vishnavedam Namah Om Bhuva Swahaya Namachyutaya Namah Om Swaswahaya Narayanaya Namah Om Bhurbhuva Swaswahaya Manantaya Namah Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Swaha Idam Guravedam Namah Om Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Daladi Swapadantikam Swaha Idam Rasachaya Idam Namah Om Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudhapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamritamscha Swaha Idam Guru Gauranga Radha Krishna Sarva Vaishnava Idam Namah Om Namah Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaganjana Swami Niti Namine Swaha Idam Diksha Gurairam Namah Om Namah Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Swaha Idam Iskon Samstapakacharya Idam Namah Om Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Swaha Idam Iskon Samstapakacharya Idam Namah Om Namah Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Swaha Idam Paramagurave Idam Namah Om Shri Varshavanavi Devi Daitaya Kivradaya Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Namaha Swaha Idam Paramagurave Idam Namah Om Madhurya Jvala Premadya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktira Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Vasule Swaha Idam Paramagurave Idam Namah Om Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Ligatarine Rupanuga Viruddhapa Siddhanta Dvanta Harine Swaha Idam Paramagurave Idam Namah Om Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshar Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambara Sambode Param Bhojayate Namaha Swaha Idam Paraparagurave Idam Namah Om Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanugamadayate Swaha Idam Mahagurave Idam Namah Om Gaura Virbhava Bhumeshwan Nirdishta Sajjana Priyaha Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannathayate Namaha Swaha Idam Parameshri Gurave Idam Namah Om Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Swaha Idam Sarva Vaishnavebhyo Idam Namah Om Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरकृष्णे नमः स्वाहा इदं गौराय इदं नमः ॐ पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकां स्वाहा इदं पञ्चतत्त्वाय इदं नमः ॐ हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते स्वाहा इदं कृष्णाय इदं नमः ॐ जनतां सुरतो वन्वन् मम मन्दमते गति मत्सर्वस्वपदं भोजौ राधा मदनमोहनो स्वाहा इदं सम्भवधानि देव मदनमोहनाय इदं नमः ॐ दिव्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमार श्रीमद्रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद्राधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवो पृष्ठादिभिः सेव्यमानौ स्मरामि स्वाहा इदमभिदेवादिदेव गोविन्दाय इदं नमः ॐ श्रीमन्रासरसारम्भे वंशी वदतदस्थितः कर्षन्वेन स्वने गोपी गोपीनाथः श्रियस्तु नः स्वाहा इदं प्रयोजनादिदेव गोपीनाथाय इदं नमः ॐ तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये स्वाहा इदं राधिकाय इदं नमः ॐ जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासरि गौरभक्तवृन्द स्वाहा इदं पञ्चतत्त्वाय इदं नमः ॐ हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे स्वाहा इदं राधा कृष्णाभ्यामिदं नमः ॐ स्वाहा इदं कृष्णवेदं नमः ॐ स्वाहा इदमच्युताय इदं नमः ॐ स्वाहा इदं नारायणाय इदं नमः ॐ स्वाहा इदं अनन्ताय इदं नमः अग्निपरीक्षण ॐ प्रभो निरुद्रप्रसवयज्ञं प्रसवयज्ञवादिं भगाय आनस्सर्वभूतस्तक्केतपुःकेतं नक्वनाथ वागीशो वाचं नैस्वरतो ॐ अनन्तं मम स्वाहा ॐ अच्युतं मम स्वाहा ॐ सरस्वते मम स्वाहा धर्मज्योतिका होम ॐ अक्तं रिहानाभ्यन्त वयः ॐ अक्तं रिहानाभ्यन्त वयः ॐ अक्तं रिहानाभ्यन्त वयः ॐ वैष्णवानामधिपते विश्व रुद्रस्तन्ति चरो वृषा पशूनस्माकं माहिकं श्रीहेतरस्तुतं तव स्वाहा पूर्णाहुति all the devotees are requested to please stand up as your offerings of grains in hand let us all say swaha please offer them ॐ पूर्णहोमं यशसे विष्णवे जुहोमि योऽस्मै विष्णवे जुहोमि सवरमस्मै ददाति विष्णोवरं वृणे यशसा भामि लोके ॐ नमो ब्रह्मण्य देवाय गो ब्रह्मण्य हिताय च जगद्धिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः स्वाहा इदं कृष्णाय इदं नमः पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्ण
सर्वमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ भूर्भुवस्व कयानश्चित्रः भवति सदा वीडस्य कया सजिष्टयामृता ॐ भूर्भुवस्व ह्रस्वा सत्योमलानमग्गं हिष्टो मत्सरन्दासः क्रीडाचीडारुदेवसु ॐ भूर्भुवस्व अभीषुणस्तकीनामाविता चारित्रेणाम् शतं भावास्युदये ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ द्यौ शान्त्यन्तरिक्षं शान्ति पृथिवी शान्तिरापः शान्तिः वायुः शान्ति तेजः शान्ति औषधयः शान्ति लोकाः शान्तिः ब्राह्मणः शान्ति वैष्णवः शान्ति शान्तिरस्तु दिविरस्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ स्वस्ति नो गोविन्दः स्वस्ति नो अच्युतानन्दः स्वस्ति नो वासुदेवो विष्णुर्दधातु स्वस्ति नो नारायणो नरो वै स्वस्ति नः पद्मनाभः पुरुषोत्तमो ददातु स्वस्ति नो विश्वक्सेनो विश्वेश्वरः स्वस्ति नो ऋषिकेशो हरिर्दधातु स्वस्ति नो वैनतेयो हरिः स्वस्ति नो भञ्जनासुतो हरिर्भागवतो दधातु स्वस्ति स्वस्ति सुमङ्गलैकेशो महन् श्रीकृष्ण सच्चिदानन्दघनः सर्वेश्वरेश्वरो दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ एता असरन् सुकृतस्य लोके ता विष्णो पाहि पाहि यज्ञः पाहि यज्ञपतिं पाहि मां यज्ञनियम् ॐ एता असरन् असरन् एता असरन् सुकृतस्य असरन् एता असरन् सुकृतस्य असरन् सुकृतस्य असरन् सुकृतस्य लोके लोके सुकृतस्य असरन् सुकृतस्य लोके सुकृतस्य लोके लोके सुकृतस्य लोके दास्ता लोके सुकृतस्य लोके दाः सुकृतस्य सुकृतस्य लोके दास्ता लोके लोके दा विष्णु विष्णु दा लोके लोके दा विष्णु विष्णु दास्ता विष्णु पाहि पाहि विष्णु दास्ता विष्णु पाहि विष्णु पाहि पाहि विष्णु विष्णु पाहि 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 विष्णु विष्णु पाहि पाहि विष्णु विष्णु पाहि 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 यज्ञं यज्ञं पाहि 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 यज्ञं पाहि यज्ञं यज्ञं पाहि पाहि यज्ञं पाहि पाहि यज्ञं पाहि पाहि यज्ञं पाहि यज्ञं पाहि पाहि यज्ञं यज्ञं पाहि यज्ञपतिं पाहि यज्ञं यज्ञं पाहि यज्ञपतिं पाहि यज्ञपतिं पाहि पाहि यज्ञपतिं पाहि पाहि यज्ञपतिं पाहि पाहि यज्ञपतिं पाहि यज्ञपतिं पाहि पाहि यज्ञपतिं पाहि मां पाहि यज्ञपतिं पाहि मां यज्ञपतिमिति यज्ञपतिं पाहि मां पाहि पाहि मां यज्ञनियं मां पाहि पाहि मां यज्ञनियं मां यज्ञनियं मां यज्ञनियं यज्ञनियमिति यज्ञनियम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ अञ्जहीनं क्रियाहीनं धृतिहीनं च यद्भवेत् अस्तु तत्सर्वमच्युतं कृष्णभाषप्रसारतः यत्किञ्चिद्वैगुणं जातं तत्सोषमसमानाय श्रीकृष्णस्मरणं करोमि ॐ हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम ayatanavan bhavati ayurvapam ayatanam ayatanavan bhavati yo bhayor ayatanam veda ayatanavan bhavati apo vai bhayor ayatanam ayatanavan bhavati ya evam veda yo